When people asked Jesus to teach them how to pray, he taught them this prayer. The Lord's Prayer is the oldest Christian prayer that we have. And Christians all over the world, and in every time and place, have said this prayer. This prayer is much, much more than just a collection of words that you need to memorize before you can be confirmed. Let's take a look at what it means, step by step. Two things that I'd ask you to remember. It's important that you talk about this prayer in your classes. And I'm going to use the traditional old-fashioned words because they seem to be the favorite of most people. The prayer begins, Our Father, who art in heaven. Some people find it helpful to think about God's love for us like a father's love for his children. But you can think about God's love like being the love of the person who knows you and loves you the very best. You can think about God's love being like your mom and or your dad's love for you, or the deep love of your sister or brother, or even the way your grandparents love you. The next line is, Hallowed be thy name. Hallowed is an old word that we don't use much anymore. Hallowed means holy. Now come to think of it, we don't use the word holy much anymore either. But to say something is holy means it is very, very special. When we see something as holy, it means we give it a special place in our hearts, or we use it for special things. The word that we use for that is consecrated. Church buildings, for example, are consecrated. We set them aside for certain things. Now, take some time and ask yourself, or maybe share with your friends, what other things do you think we might consider as holy? For me, the most holy thing, I guess, would be God. God is certainly holy, and God's name is special and holy. That's why we say, Hallowed be thy name. We never want to use God's name in anger or to hurt other people, or in a way that is disrespectful. Some people call that swearing. When we say, Hallowed be thy name, we are saying that we love and respect God. The next sentence is, Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, let's think about the kinds of things we might do to make earth like heaven. We would ask God to help us do his will because we believe that God's will for everyone is good. We will ask God to help us make the world the way Jesus wants it to be, just like the way God made heaven. That means we will be people who are willing to share, to help, to be kind, to forgive, and to be happy when others do well. We won't be jealous. Give us this day our daily bread. Well, back in Bible times, bread was a basic necessity of life. In prayer, asking for bread really means asking God to make sure we have everything we need. So when we say the Lord's Prayer, we are really spending some time thinking about the things we need and asking God to show us the difference between what we need and what we want. There's a big difference there. So I'm asking you to think about that. What is the difference between what you need and what you want? And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. You know, when we trespass against someone, we've done something wrong. We've done something to hurt them or disrespect them. What kinds of things do you think are trespasses? How have you been hurt, or how have you hurt others? These are the things that we call sins. These things might get you thinking, pushing God out of your thoughts because you don't want to change something you kind of know is wrong. Anger, fighting, being mean, being jealous, not caring for the environment. You know, caring for the environment means you care about others, even those who have not been born yet. Let's move to the next line. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Again, the prayer is asking you to think for a minute. What kinds of things tempt you? Could be something big, like wanting to steal something. It could be lying because you don't want people to discover something about you. It could be cheating on a test. It might be something as small as sneaking from a cookie jar. We ask God to help us stay away from the things that we know are wrong for us to do. We find these things in our hearts, don't we? We are asking God to keep us from doing the wrong thing and protect us from the wrong things other people just might do to us. And you know what? When they do, we forgive them. Forgive us as we forgive others. The next line, the last line, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. We say to God, everything in the world, even our very selves, belong to you. And we trust that you will lead us to where we are supposed to be in that final day when our own lives are over. And then together we say, Amen. As your class comes to an end, or whoever you're with right now while you're watching this video, why don't you take a moment to say the Lord's Prayer?